You're giving everything you've got. You're sweating, gasping for air, grinding through every round, repeating the same moves over and over, faster, harder, hoping it'll be enough. But the punches? Wild. The form? Sloppy. And when the bell rings, all you've gained is exhaustion. You pull off your gloves, stare at your reflection, and deep down you know something's not working. This is training like an amateur, and that's exactly why you're stuck. It's not about training harder, it's about training smarter. And if you don't change now, you'll never break through, but that doesn't have to be your reality. The best fighters train differently, and so can you. Let's break down the habits that are holding you back, and more importantly, what the pros do that you don't, so you can finally start winning. Untitled Chapter 1, The Overtraining Trap. Training harder isn't always better. This is the mistake most amateurs make. They think that the harder they train, the better they'll get. But the truth is, the harder you push without focus, the more progress you lose. Amateurs are stuck in a cycle of relentless training. They keep pushing their bodies to the limit, hoping it will pay off. But this endless cycle of overtraining without strategy is the exact opposite of what you need to improve. The truth is, when you train without a clear strategy, your body never gets the time it needs to adapt. Instead of progressing, you're only getting closer to burnout. You're draining your energy, but not building the skills that matter. This is where most progress is lost. More training, more intensity, without smart planning, leads to nothing but exhaustion and injury. Chapter 2. The absence of technical review. Repeating mistakes without growth. Another mistake that holds amateurs back is the complete absence of technical review. They get into the routine of repeating the same movements over and over, but never stopping to assess whether they're actually improving. Amateurs often fall into the trap of doing without actually thinking. They focus on quantity, not quality, and that's where they miss the mark. Without constant technical review, you're just reinforcing bad habits instead of improving. Without critical analysis and feedback, you're stuck. Every time you repeat an error without correcting it, you're not just wasting time. You're reinforcing bad habits that will hold you back in the long run. The key to improvement isn't just about doing more reps. It's about doing them with purpose, constantly correcting and refining your technique. Every movement needs to be reviewed. Without constant attention to detail, those bad habits are just getting worse. This is why most amateurs don't evolve. They miss the critical step of refining what they're doing. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel for more tips on how to take your training to the next level. Chapter 3. Lack of planning and periodization. Training without a clear goal. Another major issue that traps amateurs is the complete lack of planning and periodization in their training. They show up to the gym, train hard, but have no clear direction. Amateurs often just go through the motions. They might hit the bag, do some cardio, maybe some strength training, but they have no vision of where they want to go. They're training in the moment, with no long-term plan or roadmap for improvement. Training like this is like driving without a map. You might be moving, but you don't know if you're heading in the right direction. You're wasting time, and more importantly, you're wasting energy. Without a structured plan, you can't track progress. Without periodization, you're just setting yourself up for burnout and stagnation. You need to map out where you want to go and how you're going to get there. Without clear goals and a plan, you'll keep going around in circles. Training without a roadmap is just a waste of effort. It's not enough to just work hard. You need to work smart and have a clear vision of the path you need to follow. Chapter 4. The Power of Smart Recovery. Training harder isn't enough. If you're an amateur, you're probably familiar with the feeling of pushing your limits day after day. But here's something that many fighters overlook: recovery. Training without proper recovery is like pouring water into a leaky cup. You put in the effort, but your body never has the chance to refill. Without recovery, all that hard work fares wasted, and your body begins to break down instead of getting stronger. Amateurs tend to think that resting is for the weak, but in reality it's essential for progress. Recovery allows your muscles to rebuild and grow stronger, and without it, you're putting yourself at risk for injury burnout, and even worse, plateauing. Elite fighters understand the importance of recovery. They know that training smarter, not harder, means listening to their bodies. They schedule rest days, they practice active recovery, and they give their muscles time to regenerate. You need to build recovery into your plan. It's just as important as the training itself. Without it, your progress will always be limited. Remember, it's not about training harder. It's about training smarter and giving your body the tools it needs to get stronger. Chapter 5. Mindset of a Champion. Training with Purpose. Now that we've covered the mistakes that hold you back, it's time to talk about what separates elite fighters from amateurs' mindset. Elite fighters don't just train to train, they train with purpose. Every session, every drill, every rep has a specific goal in mind. They don't waste time. They make every minute count. This is where most amateurs fall short. They go to the gym without a plan, simply going through the motions. But elite fighters have a vision. They know exactly what they need to work on, and every training session is a step toward a bigger goal. This mindset is about consistency and patience. You don't expect to be perfect tomorrow, but you understand that steady progress, day by day, will bring you closer to your goals. It's about trusting the process and trusting yourself. A champion's mindset is the foundation of elite performance. It's about having a clear vision, setting intentional goals, and never losing sight of the bigger picture. You have to train with purpose, always moving forward, even on the toughest days. Is Chapter 6. Training under pressure, simulating the fight environment. You can have flawless technique, you can be in peak physical condition, you can follow the perfect training plan. But the moment you're under real pressure, when the lights are on, when the adrenaline kicks in, and when your opponent is throwing everything at you, none of it matters if you haven't prepared for the chaos. Here's the truth. Most amateurs never train for pressure. They move well in shadowboxing, they hit pads like champions. But the second they get into a real fight, their timing falls apart, their footwork disappears, their breathing goes wild. Why? Because they've never trained for intensity. They've only trained for perfection. Elite fighters don't just train the what, they train the when and how. They put themselves in uncomfortable situations every day. They practice reacting, adjusting, surviving. They simulate real fight scenarios. They spar under fatigue. They drill with distractions. They create chaos in the gym so they can stay calm when it really counts. Think about it. A fight isn't just about physical ability. It's a mental war, it's stress, it's fear, it's adapting on the fly. And if you've only trained in a calm, controlled setting, then you're not training for reality. You're rehearsing for a fantasy. That's why your training has to go beyond clean reps and perfect sequences. You need to feel your lungs burning while making decisions. You need to execute your game plan when your legs are shaking. You need to keep your composure while someone's trying to break you. That's what separates the amateurs from the elite. Pressure testing isn't just sparring hard, it's sparring smart. It's replicating the unpredictable. It's adding time limits, simulating high-stakes rounds, forcing yourself into bad positions, and learning how to get out. It's learning to stay focused when every part of your body wants to quit. Because here's the truth. When the bell rings, the fight isn't going to wait for you to catch your breath. You won't get a do-over. You have to perform no matter what you're feeling. And the only way to be ready for that is to train for it. So ask yourself, are you only training for skill or are you training for pressure? Because when the chaos comes, and it will, you need to be the calm in the storm. Look at this fighter now. The same athlete who once trained endlessly, hoping to get better, is now shifting gears. He's no longer stuck in the same cycle. He's reviewing his technique, working with his coach to correct his mistakes, and developing a plan with clear goals and a purpose. No more endless hours of repetitive training. No more overtraining without results. This fighter is now training with focus, precision, and a smart plan. Elite fighters don't train more. They train smarter, with focus, technique, and a clear plan in place. And that's exactly what this athlete has done. You don't need more hours on the mat. You need to train smarter, learn from the best, and unlock your true potential. Stop training like an amateur. Start training like an elite fighter. If you found this video helpful, Don't forget to leave a like, comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel for more tips and strategies on training smarter, not harder.